This is another episode of ShackZone podcast. Today's special guest is an entrepreneur with her own hair care and skincare business. She's a mother, a vlogger, and most importantly, it's her birthday.
Hey.
Welcome, Tony. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself. So, you have a hair care and a skincare product line. Take me to the start. Take me to the beginning.
Well, where do I start? So, it all began during the first lockdown. I was getting really bored and I needed a hobby to take up my time. Most people have hobbies, but I just didn't have anything. One thing that I used to enjoy doing was drawing, painting, but the passion of it died a long time ago because I just didn't have the time and patience for it. So one day I read a book about making soaps and I thought, that would be quite interesting to make my own soaps. So it started off as a hobby, and then my friends started to notice it and they said, oh, why don't you turn it into business? But I said it was just a hobby, it was something I was doing. I didn't think anyone would take it seriously. And then one day I decided to put my soaps out there. So that was my first thing. I only sold soaps. It was literally just shea butter and oatmeal soaps. I also did lavender soaps. And I left it like that.
How did you find out what kind of different mixtures to put together?
I did a lot of research. Before I did this, I was doing mobile massages. And I studied doing mobile massages. I also studied essential oils. And I think it was really important to use natural ingredients. So I studied about what's the best ingredients, where should it come from, and how do I know it's real. So that was the one thing. I thought to myself, I never used to worry about what I put on my skin, but I have sensitive skin, so I had to really make sure that I studied and see what worked. I've dealt with acne, I've dealt with like the odd breakup, I used to have cysts on my forehead. Now we all go through that stage, and I had like bad dermatitis on my chest, and I realised that actually a lot of products have alcohol in it. And alcohol is really harsh on your skin, and it's something that shouldn't really be in skincare or hair care products.
True. So the products that you were using prior to you making your own, was that like are you competing with the products that you used to use?
Well, no. I know that these products, what I used to use, are well-known products. Now, sometimes it might be things from Boots and regular shops you can go to. However, sometimes it would have been like the cheap alternative shops. But either way, I know that people generally like their products because that's what they used to, or they generally like the products because it is affordable for them. So I wanted to make sure that when I do come up with my line of skincare and now hair care products, it would be something that's affordable, but still made from natural organic products.
How do you avoid the stigma of, you see when they say black-owned business, they say there's like one of two stigmas. They say you're either too expensive or have some kind of attitude problem.
That's a good question.
How do you avoid when they say it's too expensive, especially when you can go other places and get cheaper? Like, what would you tell someone if they came up to you and said, what have you got that the cheaper one hasn't?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I used to be like that myself, and it may be something that is just kind of like, it's inside us, how we are. Like we like a bargain. Let's be honest, black people love a bargain. I love a bargain. We're all cheap. And it's not just us, but we're very well known for it.
We embrace it.
And it's like we're always trying to get a good deal. However, I had this problem when I first started my business, to be fair. I remember one of my friends, he's like, well, I'll go and get shower gels from Poundland. It's only £1, so I should go for you. But I said, do you actually know what's inside your products? And that was the thing. And at first, a lot of people did criticise. But I think now, especially with the pandemic, people are really taking seriously what they put on their skin and their hair. People not even just eating junk food anymore. Some do, don't get me wrong, we all have our days. But people are now realising that it's important to take care of yourself. And that's something that I can always guarantee, that these products are fresh, they're organic, they're natural.
So what's actually bad in the cheap products? What's the actual main thing that causes breakouts? Is it the oil? Is it the alcohol? Like, what's the most important part of the what causes the most?
Well, it depends because different products, they differ.
Okay.
However, what I did notice is that a lot of products, skincare products, especially those that actually say they target spots, target blemishes, target dark marks, are the ones that contain alcohol. And as we all know, alcohol should not be in skincare products
on your body at all.
It should not be on your body. Do you see what I mean? That's a disinfectant, alcohol is. Also, there is a lot of products that they have agents to keep them running longer. So, for example, with a natural and organic product, depending how you really keep it. I mean, my products do tend to last long, and I think it's due to packaging. Okay. A lot of my creams, they were in jars, glass jars, rather than plastic. Okay. Plastic, as you know, it's not eco-friendly, and also natural products do tend to melt in plastic, and it's no longer good. But it's more sustainable keeping it in glass.
Okay.
But a lot of these products that you find on the market, unfortunately, do contain like a mixture of chemicals to help sustain the product, to make sure that it lasts a longer time. And that's why people go back and buy it, because they don't have to worry that it goes off. It can be in their bathrooms for such a long time. It could be there for several years. We all have those products that sit in our bathroom for a long time, and we just haven't disposed it because we know that we can go back to it. Is it good for us? No. Do we do it if we want to be cost effective?
Okay, let me ask you. I'm not sure if you may or may not know this question, but is there truth into toothpaste getting rid of spots?
Okay, so I think that is
What's the myth?
That's the biggest lie. I even tried that when I was about 17. I was very hormonal. I started getting blemishes on my forehead. So I heard the whole trick. This is from watching Friends. Put toothpaste on the spots overnight and it will disappear. Actually, it caused my skin to break out even more. Oh, wow. Now, everyone has a different story, but it is definitely not recommended to put toothpaste on your skin. Yeah. It irritates your skin even more. Oh, wow. And even if it does get rid of it, it will come back in a different place.
Okay. Alright, so what's keeping you motivated, especially during lockdown? What's keeping your mental health stable enough to carry on with this business? It's
a combination of things. The fact that I'm truly spiritual and a believer. I believe that if you really focus on something and you really believe and you take your time and you are thankful for everything, then I believe that progress will see you. Also, I am a mother, and it's a thing where you just want to provide the best for your child. I mean, no matter what. I mean, now, some people are, they're fortunate to get fed with a silver spoon. However, that's not the case for me, and a lot of people, I know it's relatable. But I wanted to make sure, because I have my child very young, but I wanted to make sure that when she's older, she can see that Mum didn't actually sit there. She actually tried. She actually decided to get a business. She ran a business. She started it by herself, and it's successful. She decided to go back to college. She decided to make something of herself, and that's really what it is. I mean, I'm not really bothered about what people think of me, and that took a long time because I used to be really worried about what others think about me. But I think what it is, as you grow and you mature, you realise that at the end of the day, someone always has something to say, and we can't just please everyone. We can't please everyone.
Can't make everyone happy.
I mean, there's times where I do want to make people happy, but at the end of the day, I'm only human. And what's most important is making myself happy first, and then providing that opportunity to my child and sharing that love to everyone else.
And how did you manage to maintain that strength through such a dark time? Because I will say this, since I've known you throughout this lockdown, since probably tier 1, you've stayed consistent. You've just non-stop work, homework. You get what I'm saying? Have you ever gone through any down stages throughout the lockdown period?
Well, yeah, I've gone through a lot of down stages, and it's very easy to get swallowed up in a hole. But at the end of the day, you have to just try and stay on top of things. And I know it's easier said than done, but we only have one life. And I believe now, I used to be extremely lazy, I must say, but now I know that there's so much opportunities, especially during this lockdown. It's given me, and I'm sure a lot of other people, time to think about what they want in life. And that's why so many people have opened businesses. And it actually quite upsets me when some people say, oh, it's another person opening a business. Everyone has a business. They kind of
shrug it off.
Yeah, I mean, you should be proud and embracing others of doing something with themselves during these hard times.
You believe that's become oversaturated, where everyone believes they can make their own business, but they're not actually in it for the passion, they're just in it for the quick money.
Yes.
Does that kind of put you off?
There are some circumstances, for example, I did purchase of a business that I really, really loved and enjoyed, and I purchased some gifts for my family for a couple of years, and the person decided that they just decided not to do it anymore because that wasn't their business, that was their way of making money. And I realised that whenever they needed money, they open it back up again. But I guess everyone is different. That doesn't mean that their business is not much credible than others. It just means that they're not in the right headspace. They don't see. Maybe they are passionate in other areas, but maybe things get in the way. To have a business, to be fair, you have to be really focused and you have to be driven, and you have to really dedicate your time to that business. You look after that business like it's your child. You have to watch it every minute.
Okay, how do you see yourself expanding within the next couple of years? How do you see yourself expanding? Do you want your products in more shops, more stores? What's your process to make it accessible to a wider audience?
Well, this is the thing. I think in the beginning, I remember one of my associates, they told me that, oh, well, you should go to shops and go and approach them about your products. But I thought, as a new business, they're not really going to take them seriously. I'd rather build a name for myself first, and I believe that I've got to the point where I have. It may have not been where I want it, but I know that people know the brand name TeeByNature 94. There are now developed a following. So what I would like to do...
strong one as well.
Well, thank you. What I would like to do is branch out. I would like to have my products probably in pharmacies and start off with smaller shops. And one day I would like my products to be in well-known shops, wholesale prices. It would be really lovely to have that. But as long as I think starting small steps to get there, I want to make sure that everything is perfect. I mean, my label, it took so much time for my logo and my labels to be perfected. I've been through so many different drafts, and I finally got something that I'm happy with, and I can see that, yes, this is my brand. So I think for me, I would rather polish everything to really where I want it to be, and then branch out. But I'm very open to collaboration, so if anyone does want to collaborate,
you hear that?
Just feel free to contact me.
What's your Instagram?
So my Instagram name is BeautyByNature94. And
you on Facebook?
I am on Facebook, BeautyByNature94. However, I'm more active on Instagram. I interact with my customers. I let them know when deliveries have been shipped, when they receive it, special deals. I like to talk to my customers.
You believe that helps?
It definitely helps. I think when you create a relationship with customers, and they're able to ask questions and they feel comfortable asking you these questions and not feeling like you're just trying to get a sale. And it's true, because there's sometimes people may say, well, I like a certain product, but I've got sensitive skin, so I'm not just going to recommend my highest priced product because I want that sale, because at the end of the day, they're not going to come back when they find out their skin has broken out. So it's very important that you're very honest.
How are you so well versed about business? Have you ever done like a business course or anything, or was it just trial and error?
I've never done a business course. I've never been interested in studying the subjects of business. It's really strange.
But yet you're so good.
Yeah, I never even thought I'd have a business. I think what it was is just one day something just clicked in my head. And I feel like I know a lot more than before. I remember being criticised about, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, and I remember someone tried to give me Zoom meetings to talk about how I should improve my business when I didn't even have one and have no experience in business. So at the end of the day,
people love doing that.
Yes, people think they know best, but sometimes you just got to learn it your own way. They say that you don't have to study business in university to be successful in business.
And I believe that.
Yes.
I believe life, you learn, it's like school. Back when they said, like, when we were younger in school, maths, science, all these kind of geography and all that, has it really helped us in life as we got older?
You know, when I reflect about school, I mean,
Half of the
I
stuff.
can't really think of much that has really helped me. I actually work in a school and I work in education, and I must say, when I started this job, I was primary based, and I started off in year 4. I couldn't remember half the things in the curriculum. I couldn't remember how to do the most basic things. I could not even remember what a noun was. And I know it's been a long time since I've gone to school, but certain things like this, what they drill into your head, you would think that you'll come out of 10 years of education knowing something, but I came out as thick as thieves, should we say.
It's kind of weird, isn't it? Out of all your products, what do you think is your favourite that you've made so far?
My favourite product is the turmeric face nighttime serum. This is my favourite product because I enjoy using it on my skin. It has like a natural raw turmeric scent with aloe vera, and you can see the results instantly when you put it on, especially in the morning.
Okay. What was that cream that you gave me? I must say it does proper. And what's in it? Like, how does it benefit?
That'll be the Wicked Hair and Shea Butter.
Okay.
So it can be used on the skin and in your hair as well. And it has jojoba oil, shea butter, coconut oil, and lavender essential oil. And it's very highly moisturising and it hydrates your skin and hair.
Okay, because I've recently, ever since you gave it to me, I can't lie, there's like a cheap version of cream that I've been using for years. But once you gave me that, it smells nice. It's proper like shiny on your skin. I don't break out in no spots or any reactions or anything. So it's proper. I proper love it. What's it called? Yeah, it's called again?
It's called Wicked Hair and Body Butter.
Nice. And also the soaps. The soaps that you gave me.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so I have a big range of soaps that I make, and the soaps that I did give you was shea butter and oatmeal soaps.
Okay.
So they're quite in a natural form, and they're really good for all skin types, especially sensitive skin. Okay. I also have other soaps like turmeric soap, which is good for brightening skin, and it's especially good to target those who have hyperpigmentation, and the same with African black soap as well.
Okay, you see, when it comes to making different products, is it like a trial and error process? How do you know what's good for sensitive skin, and how do you know what's good for non-sensitive?
In the beginning, it started off as trial and error. However, with a lot of research, you find out what's quite good for your skin and what's not. So, for example, coconut oil is a controversial product because coconut oil is highly moisturising and it hydrates your skin. However, those who have sensitive skin may find that if they put a product with coconut oil on their face, they're more likely to break out, or their skin can react if they have acne. However, on the body and in the hair, it's highly moisturising. Also, some people find that, like myself, that coconut oil in my hair, it doesn't moisturise my hair as much as Jamaican castor oil. So it's about getting the balance, and it also differs between person to person. Okay,
so do you do selective things for selective types of, say, hair texture, for instance? Is it one size fits all, or do you actually do separate things for separate hair textures or skin types? Or
well, with the hair care products, it's diverse, so it's for everybody.
Okay.
However, there are circumstances when people have emailed me and messaged me and just let myself know that there are certain products they can't use in their hair or in their skin because they have allergies or they're quite sensitive. So, for example, I'm able to alter that product to their needs.
Okay.
And for example, if there is somebody that has sensitive skin, then I would morally recommend something that's more appropriate to them in the skincare range, rather than something that has like coconut oil.
Okay. Alright. And recently, you've been wanting to do blogging.
Yes. And
recently you've made a new YouTube channel. What's it called?
So my new YouTube channel is called TeeByNature.
www.youtube.com/TEE by nature.
That's right.
And now you've made it, what's your process from now on? Are you going to do daily vlogs? Are you going to do like separate videos from your Instagram, separate videos to YouTube? How's that process going to...
Well, with my Instagram, it's quite regulated in terms of I have a fixed dates and times when I decide to post content. Okay. However, sometimes if you post yourself, it can become a little bit overwhelming or all about you, rather than the brand itself and the products itself.
Yeah, narcissistic.
Yeah, and that's not what I'm trying to create on my page. Therefore, I decided that customers who wants to buy into myself as well, who wants to find a little bit more about myself in the process of making the products, and a little bit more about what I enjoy, like fashion, beauty, and just talking about general lifestyle topics. Then YouTube is a place and a platform that they can go to find out a little bit more about me without having to really get into mixing up my business and my personal life.
Do you feel like you're over accessible?
No, that's one of the things is I think when you have a business, it's very important that you are accessible. However, one thing I've noticed that is when I started my business, I didn't give out my phone number. I don't have a business phone number on my business cards. And I know it's very controversial. However, I don't think that it's quite needed. And to be fair, with the way I've been promoting my products on my page, and the amount of followings I had, I've done that without a phone number. So it can be achieved. I mean, social networks, social media is the biggest platform now to share and promote everything.
Are you naturally a shy person?
Yes.
Or like a low key?
I would say I wouldn't say I'm not shy anymore. I think growing up I was definitely a shy person, but I grew more confident. I'm not really out there, but I think that's my choice. I'm quite calm,
reserved.
Yeah. I wouldn't say reserved. I think a lot of people do misunderstand me being reserved. It's just a case where there's a lot of people that get into a lot of mix-ups, and I just take myself out of the equation. And if that makes me reserved, I guess that's reserved.
Okay, the reason why I asked that, how hard was it for you to attach your face to your label?
Well, in the beginning, even with a lot of my products, I have the TeeByNature 94 label with the leaf.
Yep.
However, with the haircut products, I used to have just a generic logo of like a woman, and I just thought, or like a man with their afro, and I thought, well, actually, why don't I put myself on it and animate it? And a lot of people say, I remember reading one tweet one day saying that no successful person has ever had a business with their face as the logo, but actually, I think that
there's been a few.
Yeah, there has been a few.
Like
so
KFC.
Yes.
There's a couple.
There is quite a few, and I think a lot of times people just assume those things and they don't do their research, and they put a lot of things out there and assume that you cannot do it. I mean, it can come across as narcissistic, depending on how the picture is taken, but the picture is animated into the fact that it's not just animated, it's kind of altered, that it can look like somebody else, but at the same time it is me.
I was going to say that. I was going to say having you on there actually could show anyone else that that's me. Like, whether it's a woman, a man, whoever, like, that's me.
Yeah.
If you come from like whatever ethnic, whatever background, you look at that, rather than, like you said, a generic picture, it's like, it's more relatable.
Yeah.
It's more like, wow, like I know this person. And especially following you through your journey on social media, you're going to feel like they know you even more. So,
exactly.
Have you ever come across any personal, like, interactions with your customers that kind of go above just strictly professional? Any situations?
There are quite a few people that tend to...
They go too far.
Yeah, I mean, they do tend to pop up on, for example, my Instagram account and try and ask, I mean, there's a lot of inappropriate questions. And
away from business.
Yes, it starts off with, hi, how are you, and what do you actually do? And I'm thinking to myself, well, what do you mean, what do I do? I mean, my page shows me, all the content that's on the page isn't for nothing. Link is in the bio, but I guess that I can see where it's going. But because I do have a business and I have to keep it professional, I do interactors in.
Filter.
Yeah, and I do say, well, someone says, what do you do? I said, actually, I make hair care and skincare products. Please take a look at my content. Here is the link if you'd like to purchase. And that tends to sway people off if they're trying to go to a different direction other than business.
Okay.
I think that keeps it, kind of professional, and it shows people that actually this is a business account. It's not a data net.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. How do you deal with criticism? So, especially reading your reviews, I've checked, and you showed me from when you started until now, you've had great reviews.
Yeah.
Like 5-star, 4.5-star. How are you with criticism? Like, does it sway your confidence if you don't see? Say you put in all of the work, so you know what you're doing. You put in hours daily, mixing the creams and making soaps and making your products. So if you get something that you don't expect to read after putting all in that labour, does it kind of sway your confidence, or do you just keep it moving?
Well, you've got to keep it moving. I mean, everyone's going to think that your products are 100% great. I mean, to everyone, they're going to have their own opinion. I mean, it also kind of depends as well at the same time. If someone left feedback and they gave their reasons, for example, if they rated you low, and the reasons make sense, I guess that's a fair point. But there are times where people may decide to rate people a lower score and they don't have comment behind it. And it's like, well, why was that? You kind of get curious. So I think it's very important to leave that feedback, and that provides me the customer feedback and satisfaction that I'm able to provide better service for my customers, if that's the case.
Okay. Are you looking to go international with the brand?
Well, at the moment, I do sell internationally. I don't just sell in the UK, but I do sell worldwide, so there is worldwide shipping. I have a lot of customers from the United States and Netherlands, and it's quite popular, and recently I've been getting Germany as well.
Oh, wow. Okay, talking about Germany, what is your stance on this whole, relationships? Kanye and Kim Kardashian. Couple hot topics, just to bring up the mood. Couple hot topics. What's your stance on this whole Kanye West, Kim Kardashian debacle? You know what happened?
Yeah.
Briefly.
I mean, I think a lot of time people invest themselves with people that are big, like celebrities and reality TV stars, and I think that's because that's all they see and they're quite relatable. I mean, a lot of people, I don't believe, felt that Kim and Kanye would end up together and they were counting down the days of the divorce. I mean, what they have showed everyone that they've been together for years, and I can see that from what I've heard, the latest news is that Kanye has locked off Kim and he's not speaking to her at all. But then we always have to remember as well that he does have mental health problems. He is bipolar, and that can make a lot of these decisions irrational at the time.
You know what's funny? The differences between the royal family, or Meghan and Harry and Kim and Kanye. In that situation, Kanye is Meghan, Kim is Harry. Can you see where I'm going with that? Do you believe that Kanye, because many times he said, have you seen the film Get Out?
Yes.
And they stir the tea and whatnot. Kanye said, it basically, the Kardashian household is that. And basically they got me brain warped, and they've got me, they've just got my head all over the place. Like, I'm not the same person I once was because of this family. What would you advise someone in that situation, maybe not as high profile, but just a normal person in a relationship where they feel like they're being too controlled, but because of their loyalty and or love, they feel like they can't leave because they'll be letting said person down and they'll be hurting themselves? What kind of advice do you think?
My advice would be that in those situations, you really got to think about yourself. You've got to think of yourself, your safety, your health and well-being. Are you happy? Do you feel safe? I mean, we can't be people pleasers in life, and there are times where we want to please others, but at the same time, if you're in a situation where you feel it's toxic and you do not feel like yourself anymore, then I think that's warning signs that you need to get out of it, so you need to seek help, and you shouldn't feel ashamed to seek help. It's very important to, I know it is quite embarrassing, but at the same time, if you don't make those steps, you don't know what might happen.
It's true, because a lot of people recently, there's been a lot of suicide, especially being locked down. Like, it's hard enough being in the lockdown, being at home by yourself, but to be in lockdown, also in a toxic relationship, could send someone either in a mental institution or the extreme, them committing suicide. And so I agree.
Yeah, and to be fair, I can relate with that situation because I have a friend as well that during the pandemic they have found themselves in a situation where their health has deteriorated, their mental health. And it's these situations, although they're part of a loving family, you never know what might happen or how someone is feeling being trapped because they can't go out. Someone that's really outgoing, now being told that you have to stay, and it can be detrimental. And a lot of people said, okay, well, you're selfish if you go out. I guess in a certain way you are, but at the same time, you have to remember that not everyone's adjusted to this life. It's almost as if you're going to prison. You're let out when the guards decide to let you out. And even in prison, you get a time frame when you actually know that you're going to come out.
Whereas, whatever.
You know, and you kind of prepare yourself that, yes, I'm going to do my 5-year sentence, but you know, 5 years time in June, that's when I may come out. But if we don't have any hope and we're told different things, and you know that we might come out then, or now we're going to go back in again, you almost feel like you're punished. You know, it always feels like a punishment to you.
Do you feel like we've shot ourselves in the foot? Because the first tier 1, they said, do not leave the house. If you leave the house, things are going to get worse. Now we're in tier 4, and allegedly there's a lot of areas around London that people aren't abiding by the rules. So do you think we're making it worse for ourselves? I understand we need freedom and I get it, but do you think if we listen...
No. I feel like, to be fair, the majority of the public listened in the first lockdown. However, I do
Everyone
think...
was scared, isn't it?
Yeah, and I do think at the same time that the government was very quick to blame those for not following the rules, why things got worse, whereas I think the government didn't take enough action to actually put things in place for people to follow the rules. And I think that they need to take some accountability of that.
I think they just don't know what's going on.
Well, that is the case.
I think they're just basically trying to figure it out like we are.
Yeah. And the thing is, everyone is humans at the end of the day. I mean, we can't. The government can't always get it right, and we can't always get it right as well. It's impossible to expect that everyone in the United Kingdom would actually stay in their homes and abide by those rules. Rules are made to be broken, as bad as it sounds.
You know what? I agree with you, but what was it? I can't remember if it was Spain, Italy. I can't remember. Somewhere. What the people done was they gathered up and went against the government. And in the end, the government had to listen to what the public wanted. But in our case, because there's no unification, no one wants to work together. Everyone feels like he's trying to get over on me. She's trying to do this to me. Everyone's kind of side-eyeing each other. No one trusts each other. So we can't come together to be a huge force against the system. Because I believe if everyone, just like Black Lives Matter, when I went to a Black Lives Matter rally, allegedly, during the COVID, there was much more white people than there was black people. It's called Black Lives Matter. So it's like, what's going on? But I believe if everyone kind of stuck together and went against the government won't have a chance.
Yeah.
Because we've seen it many, many times in other countries.
It's funny because we're called the United Kingdom, and as a nation we are not united.
Far from it.
We tend to just do what we like, and I think you kind of raised an important point with the whole Black Lives Matter process, but I think we have to remember also that the Black Lives Matter wasn't founded by any black people in the first place, and I think a lot of people unfortunately use that movement as an excuse to
Use
just
it as
have
a cape.
a time to just go out and rant about anything
Exactly.
that they don't actually feel passionate about, because a lot of those people that were DMA have been racist themselves.
Exactly.
And it's just a case of just having something to do because they were bored to being inside and you wanted to get their face on TV, unfortunately.
No, you're right. It's true. Because it's like, you don't really, because it seems like Black Lives Matter once every 2 years.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like Black History Month.
Black History Month,
isn't it?
Exactly. As and when, like, so it really don't. So that's why when certain people, I have no stance on either side, but I kind of agree with certain points from both sides.
Yeah.
So when there's someone like, all lives matter, not saying that I agree or disagree with it, but I understand a black man that will say all lives matter. Because a lot of people that I know, especially black people, they love to down the white man and say, you don't do this, you don't do that. But at the end of the day, it's the white people that's actually maintained the black. Look at benefits. Look at housing council and all that. It's a white establishment that's actually looking, rather if we want more, if we want less, if we want whatever we feel like we deserve, they're still doing something. Not saying that black people don't, but I feel like there's not a big enough infrastructure because everyone keeps side-eyeing each other and everyone feels like someone's trying to get over on each other. So I think there needs to be more trust within the black community. There needs to be more acceptance. You can't just look at someone because they came out of prison and think, whoa, like, he could have been a changed man. Yeah. A lot of people that go to prison, I've had family members that went prison, they go in the biggest, hardest gangster, whatever, then they come out like Muslim and talking like Gandhi and talking like mad spiritual, and they've literally changed their life, rehabilitated. So people, I believe everyone deserves a second chance and people can change. But for some reason, certain communities refuse to believe that people can change. Once again, I understand both sides. Because, once again, in the community, black community, there's a lot of there's a lot of things that happen that people aren't comfortable talking about. But we know what's going on. I think, I don't have to say what it is, but I think everyone kind of knows what that is. And it's like, that needs to be addressed. Like, if we love each other like we say we do, and we care about each other and Black Lives Matter and all this kind of stuff, why can't we address all the elephants in the room, rather than we know what's going on but don't talk about that? It's like having a drunk uncle that when he comes to the house or the barbecue or whatever, that's Lucas. That's my Uncle Lucas, leave him, he's fine. These times my man could be going for a mental breakdown. But we just, whatever, like, don't talk about it. Like, someone's done something to someone, don't talk about it. So I think there needs to be a bit more communication, understanding and acceptance within every community. Then I think that will probably help build a stronger foundation for the future, for like positive stuff to happen for the future.
I agree.
Once again, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
What's your Instagram?
My Instagram handle is BeautyByNature94. So BeautyByNature94.
And your YouTube?
My YouTube is
www.youtube.com/TeeByNature.
TeeByNature.
Make sure you get me on there, you know.
I will do.
Yeah? Alright. If you need, like me, back in the day, if you didn't know, I used to do modelling. So I can kind of look up, look right, look left. I've kind of got the physique. So if you need like beard oil, you need like hair, these times I'm looking wild, but it is what it is. If you need like hair product, I'll be a mannequin, just stand there. Whatever you need.
I'll be sure to hit you up. Thank you.
Yeah? Thank you.